Okay, let's go through this mega menu right quick. So I created a regular menu up here, and when we roll over or hover over cities, drop down will appear in 3 columns, and then up here we have a H2 that just has the text, so you can put any title that you want there, and then down here we'll actually see our list items. This is sorted alphabetically, so using some jQuery, we went ahead and made all sort in alphabetical order. And so it'll go from top to bottom, starting at the left, back up to the top in the second column, to the bottom there, and then back to the top in the third column, down to the bottom there. All this here is in alphabetical order. So let's look at the HTML. Okay, let me refresh the page here. Okay, and there we have it. Let's go and open this up a little bit. Okay, fairly simple HTML. Disregard this here, but what we're looking at is going to be this here. All right, this is going to be our navigation. That's what you see right here, and the drop-down menu as well. Okay, so all we did was just create a list. So we have a main list that starts out right here. Okay, and this creates our unordered list. We go ahead and add a couple of list items. We have the first couple up here, which you see cities, countries, and cities right here. And then the other ones follow here at the bottom. Within our second list item, we have another unordered list. And also at the top there, before we get to the unordered list, we create an H2, which will give us this here. Let me go to pull it up so you can see it. All right, which will give us this right here. All right, so it's kind of just like a title for the content below. And then we create a div, and this div will wrap around this entire unordered drop-down list. So this entire box, that's what you're looking at here. It's wrapped. Okay, so it creates that container. And then again, we have our H2 that displays the title, and then we move on to our unordered list. This here displays as 3 separate columns. However, in the HTML, this is just one unordered list with a bunch of list items in them, and none of these in the HTML are in particular alphabetical order. What we're going to do is we're going to use a little bit of jQuery to put these in alphabetical order, and also to create the 3 columns that we see here. Okay, so let's go ahead and bring in our CSS. And refresh the page. Okay, so moving along, I'm going to go ahead and open this up a little bit. Our navigation will start here. Done some basic styling. That's what you're seeing here. Gray background, floated left items to create this horizontal navigation. And we are setting it to where when we hover over this list item, it will display the menu. By default, it is set to display none. So this drop-down menu here in CSS is displayed to none. So it won't be until you hover over this button or this list item that it will then set the CSS property to display inline block, and that will display our drop-down submenu. Okay, and we can find that right here. And then it'll go ahead and display it once we hover over it. So that's what you're seeing here. Okay, other than that, we apply some basic styling. This is a fairly bare bones example, so it's something that you can definitely extend. Now, one part that was slightly tricky, and I think this may be some sort of bug or glitch, but this did happen here in the Chrome browser and in Firefox browser. I'm going to open this up a little bit. Right about here, about before this box displays, okay, so in its default state like this, a small nudge was appearing right under here, and it was spanning the width of this box. Right? So this box was not visible, but in this state here, it had like a little nudge in the bottom there that spanned the width of this, and it just stuck out. So it just kind of stuck out of this menu. So I had to go in there and correct it, and the way that I was able to do that is going to be right here in this code. So without this code here, let's see what we get. And if I set this to 100, okay. So you're starting to see a little bit of that breaking of the design. We'll hover over it now, it looks okay. But if I add a border bottom here, which you would imagine would work just fine to get this bottom border. Okay, so what we there is apply a border around the left, bottom, and right of this drop-down menu. You can see it very faintly. It's like a black solid pixel that goes around this box. But when we apply it here along with the other ones for the top, for the left, right, and the bottom, without this chunk of code, you get that issue. So we'd have to do a top 100%. There we go. But you'll notice that right here, it's got this kind of small gray bump sticking out of the main menu. So to correct that, we delete the top 100% and move back to this state here. We're also going to move this border bottom. Okay, so there's what I had here in this code. So just move this border bottom here to when you hover over it, it's going to change the top property, remove 1%, that'll get rid of that little bump there, and then we're going to apply a border bottom to the hover state that will effectively show the bottom border. The other way around would not allow you to show the bottom border in this box. They would just show the left and the right border, unless you set that bottom border. But as you saw just a moment ago, that bottom border is with display right here. It just kind of bumps out. So that takes care of that issue. Something to be aware of when messing around with this code. Other than that, we're going to move on to the JavaScript. Out. So we have some comments here that provide a little bit of detail with what's going on here on every line. But essentially what we're doing with this piece of code, and we'll dive into it a little bit further, dissect it a little bit more. Might create a new video and then just upload over this one. What we have is this is creating an array out of all the list items in that UL. So it creates an array, and then what we do is we create our 3 list columns using this code here, and using sort. As it creates this array and spits out the values, it sorts as it does that for each list item or each value in that list item. So as it's processing, it's sorting, and then we go ahead and spit that out into the list items that you see here. Alright, well, that'll do it for this code pen. Visit atechapart.com, and also, you're already viewing this video, but check out the YouTube channel as well. And until next time.